Good evening and namaste to all the viewers of the day. You all are welcome to Genius Lakshya, which is a national platform for all the students, where the students from standard 7 onwards are trained, motivated, and guided to pursue their higher objectives of life. So, Genius Lakshya is committed to providing the best teaching, training, motivating the students from standard 7 onwards. And we at Genius Lakshya have been giving a very concrete and very strong foundation for the students, based on which they can appear any examinations like UPSC, GPSC, NDA, and CDS to achieve the highest goal of their lives. So, this is a unique platform by the Genius Group of institutions where the students across the nation will be trained and taught and guided and motivated for being a super class 1 officer like IS, IPS, IFS, IRS, and others. So today our topic is on new education policy. Before we start the topic, we will understand what is education, what is formal education, what is informal education, what is vocational education, what is the position of education of India in the international level, what is the present education system and what will be the future education system. This presentation will address all the matters. So it is really a welcome step taken by the government of India to take the education of India to the next level. And we know that education is the backbone of the society, and if the education is best, it is based on practical approach, if it is based on holistic approach, if the education is based on the professional approach, if the students are truly trained, then the biggest challenge of our nation, unemployment problem, will be solved to the greater extent, and by default the poverty will be solved. So absolutely it is a welcome step, a great step taken by the government of India, and very shortly this new education policy will be implemented. The previous national education policy of 1986 will come into standstill once the new education policy is implemented across the nation. Also, it is not mandatory by the state to follow it, because education comes in concurrent list. What is concurrent list? Means center can make policy for the whole nation on education. At the same time, state can make the policy on education for its state. So when the policy is made by center and state on a particular item or a particular thing, then it comes under the concurrent list of the Indian Constitution. So we will analyze it, we will understand it. Okay. So before we start the education, some of the questions for my students. Question number 1. Which is Steel City of India? Which city is called the Steel City of India? Come on. Which city is called the Steel City of India? Which cities are called the Textile City of India? And which city is called Education City of India? Any idea? The Steel City of India is Bokaro. Bokaro in Jharkhand. The textile cities are like Ahmedabad and Surat. But yes, Devang, you are right. Jharkhand. Jharkhand, it is in Jharkhand, Bokaro city. Then tell me, which is the education city of India? Which city is the education city of India? Whether it is Delhi, whether it is Mumbai, whether it is Bangalore, whether it is Chennai, or none of the above. According to you, which is the education city of India? The answer is there is no education city in India. There is no education city in India. And the government of India has Bhubaneswar, Odisha. No, the answer is not absolutely right. But yes, Bhubaneswar is well developed in education. But there is no city in India which can be called the education city of India. Correct. Not any city. Absolutely right. So we believe in education. We are into education. Education is the backbone of the nation. Then how come there is no education city in India? You will see soon the education city of India, because according to the objective and the vision of mission of the current national education policy or new education policy, almost all the states will try to make the education city in their own state. And if you'll ask me, which state can be considered to be the front runner of this competition, then definitely my answer will go to Kerala. Because the concept of education city has been there for a long period of time, though it has not been implemented very sincerely. But yes, the concept of education city has been there in the state of Kerala, and we all are aware of the fact that Kerala's education is, or the participation of education in Kerala in school level. I'm not talking about higher education. I'm talking about elementary education is better than rest of the states in India. We will discuss everything on the presentation. You will get to know many things from the today's presentation. Also, you should know that Kerala has pre-primary education And you will tell me this is nothing new. Pre-primary education is nothing new. But pre-primary education in the government school is absolutely new. There are only two states in India. One is Kerala and second is Assam, where pre-primary education is there in government schools or in public schools. In other states, there is pre-primary education, but it is controlled by a private organization. So today we will analyze so many things: the old education system, the new education system, the advantages of new education system, the disadvantages of new education system, what are the provisions of education in Indian Constitution, what is the duration to achieve the target, what type of educations are there. We will also discuss the board structures, because so far we have 10 plus 2 structure, but the new education policy will replace it. We will know what is the new one then. So if you are aware of anything of new education policy, then you let me know. You can write me on the comment box if you know anything of new education policy, anything, because it is the current event or the current affairs, and the many discussions, many debates are going on the new education policy 2020. If you are aware of it, then kindly let me know. If you know any fact, any figure, anything else about the new education policy or anything about education policy of the nation, then let me know, because this is the vision of the government of India to take the education of India to the world level. Unfortunately, many premier institutions of India are not coming, or they have failed to make position in the world level in top 100. So this is the vision statement, and this education policy will definitely add a feather in the education of the nation. Okay, so some of the questions from my side, then we will start the presentation. Do we have any education department in center? Yes or no? Do we have any education department in India in central level? The answer is whether yes or no. Give me the answer. Or the HRD Ministry of Human Resource Development and Development has been renamed. Yes, you are absolutely right, ma'am. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system. This system is prevalent across the world. Absolutely, you are right. Better late than never. India has adopted this 5 plus 3 plus 4 system. Ultimately, it will prioritize or give importance to the primary education. Base. The research says that the most important formative age when the students can be molded or remolded, can be imparted the best education, can be given the best numerical system, best literacy, best languages before they attain the age of 12. So this 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system will play a very important role, a crucial role in the upcoming education system of our nation. Very good, ma'am. Anything else apart from that? Anything else apart from that? Okay, then I am going to share the presentation where we will understand the new education policy in many respects. We will analyze the advantages, we will also analyze the disadvantages, also the challenges of the new education policy. So, I am sharing the presentation. If you don't understand anything, then feel free to write me on the comment box. I will get back to you. So, be there and enjoy the presentation. So, the new education policy 2020 will be implemented very soon. And this is a quick glance of the changes at school and college level in the new education policy. So today we are going to analyze what is it in brief. We know that whenever I take any presentation, I always share the syllabus. I always share the syllabus of the UPSC, and you know that what we are going to discuss today is an important topic of UPSC syllabus and GS paper 2. We have been discussing on governance. I have already given many presentations on governance. Also, we have been discussing Indian Constitution, an important part of General Studies paper 2. Also, we have been discussing Indian polity time to time. I have been presenting many topics on social justice and international relation is also an important topic of the discussion of my presentation most of the time. Also, we discuss issues relating to development, we have been discussing, and the management of the society and the services. Relating to health, yes, we have been discussing, and today our topic is on education of General Studies Paper 2 of UPSC examination. Also, is education is very important for UPSC's essay writing perspective, because in most of the essay writing UPSC has been asking question health on health and education. Before we start the new education policy 2020, let's understand which are the constitutional provisions which are already there. These are already there in the Constitution of India. So, there are various provisions, constitutional provisions like fundamental right, directive principle of state policy, which is called DPSP, fundamental duty, special directives, and as we know that we have a central government and the state government. Center makes the law, or policy formulation is done by central government for the whole nation. At the same time, states are empowered to formulate laws for their respective states. So there are three lists. One, central list. Two, state list. And three, concurrent list. Then what is concurrent list? Concurrent list means the combination of central and state list, where center can make the policy as well as state can make the policy. That list is called concurrent list. We know that India is a country of federation. So sufficient power is given to the states, and education comes under the concurrent list. Education comes under the concurrent list means state can make the laws on education and center also can make the laws on education. So the important provision of National Education Policy of 2020, we will discuss school level education of National Education Policy or new National Education Policy. Also we will discuss with regards to higher education and some others which are neither in school education nor in higher education. So National Education Policy is the biggest transformation policy. National Education Policy is so far the biggest transformation policy. Why it is a transformation policy? Means it is going to change a lot in education. This new national education policy will definitely change the education of India if implemented positively. So this national education policy is the biggest transformation policy after right to education policy. The last time we had the national education policy was in the year 1986. So after a long period of time, in 2020, India got a new national education policy. And this is very, very interesting and really good that MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, because this department was responsible for education in India. This MSRD department has been renamed and now it will be Department of Education. So the MSRD department has been renamed and this department will be known as the Department of Education henceforth. These are the provisions of Indian Constitution, like education for women, right to education, religious education, minority education, right of freedom of education and compulsory education, promotion of education and economic interest of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward classes. So all these provisions are already there in the Indian Constitution. So fundamental duty to provide opportunity. This provision is already there in Indian Constitution for education. Also there is provision of instruction in mother tongue and promotion of Hindi language across the nation. All these are the constitutional provisions for education in India. So you have already understood, union list means center can make law on this list. These are the articles, right? And state list, state can make law on state list, and concurrent list means center plus state both can make law on the concurrent list, and education comes under this concurrent list. So let's understand the new education policy in school level. The new education policy 2020 aims for universalization of education. What does it mean? What does it mean? The universalization of education means it will be at par with the world class education, and also there will be 100% gross enrollment in school by 2030, from preschool to the secondary school. It is not a new concept, because the universalization of education was already there in right to education. But this new national education policy will bring back many drops out, because in India we have lot of dropouts of the students from the schools for so many reasons. But this new education policy, National Education Policy 2020, aims to bring back 2 crore students to the education through National Open Schooling System. This is the vision statement of our government, where by 2030 the GER will be 100% in school level. Previously we had 10 plus 2 structure. This 10 plus 2 structure will be replaced by 5 plus 3 by plus 4 right now. So this is an amendment in school education system. So 10 plus 2 setup will be replaced. Three years of Anganwadi or preschools, because we know that Anganwadis are there across our nation in villages. So the primary education or the pre-primary education will be provided in the center. First 5 years from 3 to 8 years. Then next 3 years, that is from 8 to 11 years. Then 3 years means 11 to 4 years. This is the slip, different slip, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 model. So total 12 years, which are the most important for the development of children. These are the crucial years when the all-round development of a child or the holistic development of a child takes place. So this 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 curriculum structure will bring a big transformation in our education. Also, this new education policy will give more importance to the foundation, means school education, from pre-primary to the intermediate. New curriculum will focus on the foundation course, where numeracy means subjects relating to numbers, And literacy means subject relating to language. Both will be given importance and prioritized because it has been seen by so many reports or from so many reports that the numeracy and literacy level of the students in almost all the schools in India are very, very low. There are many reports. We will discuss in my presentation the various reports and the level of students on numeracy and literacy are quite below the standard. So this time government has focused on numeracy and literacy. And the most important thing which I like the most is the introduction of the vocational education from class 6. Because vocational education in India is very, very less. It is in a grade this small. Because in our country, education means only school education or classroom education. But education or vocational education is not a school education. This is purely a practical education, or this is a floor education where practical implementation of knowledge will be given on various topics. And the vocational educations are great in demand across the world. But somehow we in India, we don't consider vocational education as very, very important. In almost all the developed countries and developing countries across the world, from very early age, the students are exposed to the vocational education where they learn everything practical. The vocational education involves or include carpentry, electric work, welding work, gardening, and so many. And all these are the real source of employment in the world. So the introduction of the vocational education from class 6 is the classical task or a Herculean task taken by the government of India. Then teaching up to grade 5 in mother tongue is the provision of new curriculum. Because according to research, it is found that if a student is taught in the mother tongue, that means he learns more, he learns better. It does not mean that English language should be neglected, but yes, according to the new education policy, due new education national policy 2020, the importance of mother tongue will increase. So new education policy 2020 says that 50% of all the students will have vocational education. Means minimum 50% students will be given training on many vocational crafts, and this states that at least 50% of learners going through school, higher education system shall have exposure to vocational learning. This vocational learning will give practical knowledge. It will directly provide skill. The skills are used in industries directly, and in this process the unemployment problem of our country will be reduced to a larger extent. So the introduction of vocational education in the school education curriculum is a great step by the government of India. Then the new educational policy says that beginning with vocal exposure at early age, middle age and secondary level, the quality vocational education will be integrated with the higher education. And which are the crafts or vocational crafts? Carpentry, electric work, metal work, gardening, pottery making. All these vocational crafts are in great demand across the world, but less than possibly 1% students in our country focus on the vocational crafts, because the vocational crafts are somehow underestimated in our country, but in the developed countries they are important. They are equally important like any other subject like engineering, medical, or any other profession. So this is really a welcome step by the government of India, and will be sampled and decided by state and local communities during class 6 to 8. These vocational courses will be given to the students. At least the student will go through at least one out of many vocational crafts. He will have to go through any one, or if he goes through many, and they will be exposed to many more vocational courses. There will be a policy of 10 days bagless, means students will go without bag because books are not required there. They will learn these vocational courses practically, because vocational courses are themselves practical. So local vocational experts will train the students. Local vocational experts means for the person, the people, or the vocational experts of carpentry or electric work or metal work or gardening or pottery. They will train the students from class 6 to 8, because teachers are not trained for the vocational crafts mostly. So the vocational experts, the people who are good at all these vocational crafts, will be hired or will be recruited by the concerned educational institutions, and they will train the student from standard 6 to 8. And also national education policy will propose similar internship to the student between class 6 to 12. So this is an excellent innovative idea to provide the practical exposure to the student from an early age. Also, the policy talks about introduction of vocational courses in secondary school level, and national education policy talks about skill labs where the skill development will be done for the students. There is also a provision or proposal to set up vocational courses through online mode. The national education policy also talks about the quality or holistic education, including vocational education from preschool to class 12. The policy also talks about local teacher education program. In the local teacher education program, the local experts will be recruited by schools. They will be hired by the schools to provide short-term courses to the students on the vocational craft. But at the same time, this policy has many challenges. According to the Hindu, vocational courses may disrupt or disturb the students, because since beginning the students are exposed to a particular way of learning, and the introduction of the vocational education may possibly distract the student. This is the cutout of the leading newspaper The Hindu on dated July 31, 2020. Also, the new education policy talks about 21st century skills. What is 21st century skill? The 21st century skill is the coding from class 6 standard is a 21st century skill. So the new education policy will allow students to choose coding from class 6 onwards according to the Quint on 30th July 2020. So the student will be given the coding, they will learn coding, but generally the coding is taught in higher levels, but right now it will be taught in the lower level and it will be started from class 6. According to new education policy, the coding is a 21st century skill. We have already discussed. The new education policy has been approved by Narendra Modi led National Democratic Alliance government, and the students will be taught coding from standard 6. And school education secretary Anita Karwal said students will be given the coding from class 6 onward, means from 6 onward they can learn coding. They will be given coding because coding is very important internationally nowadays. So the announcement was made by the Education Ministry official at the press conference where the Union Minister Prakash Javadekar, who was the former HRD Minister of India, was there. So through coding, students can learn to create games and applications for multiple platforms such as Android, Windows and iOS. Then another most important and interesting part is assessment. Generally assessment is done by teachers, but now it is very interesting that apart from teachers, the colleagues and the student himself will assess his report. It is very interesting to know that since beginning teachers are accountable for the assessment of the student or for the progress of the student, for the comment of the progress. The opinion of teachers are important, but nowadays for the assessment, the students from the performance assessment, review, analysis of knowledge for holistic development, which is softly called PARAG, will be done, where the student himself will assess his progress, his friends' opinion is very important, and of course the teacher's opinion. So this is a new type of assessment and it will be implemented in our education system very soon. So this is the end of my presentation and we will discuss. If you have any doubts, any question or any query, then we will discuss your doubts. So if you have any doubts, any query, then let me know. How is our new education? How did you find? Let me know, because it is going to transform the whole education process if it is implemented positively. If the new education, national education policy of 2020 is implemented positively, then surely the education of India will be at par with the world level. Okay, so if you have any doubts, any query, you can ask me right now if you have anything to know. No doubt. Okay. Okay, very good. Anybody else? Anybody else? So you can write an essay on new national education policy in 250 words to check your own understanding, because new education policy says that you have to know yourself, you have to understand yourself, because our assessment is always done by our teachers, by parents and by others. So this is the right time to develop our own thinking. This is the right time to develop our critical thinking. because at the end of the day, after some time, we must know how to assess our own personality. So this skill will definitely help our student to analyze themselves. So the critical thinking, self-assessment will be very useful for the upcoming generations. Generally, I have seen that if a student is asked about his strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities or threats, even the intermediate students, they don't know how to analyze themselves. So this approach of self-analysis and the analysis of the friends and teachers will definitely play an important role in our upcoming education system, because the whole objective of any education system is to develop critical thinking, to develop creative thinking. And we in India generally don't expose our students to develop creative and critical thinking, because everything is given ready-made. If the students are given everything ready-made, then they will never develop creative thinking, critical thinking. So the new education national policy will definitely enhance the creative thinking and critical thinking of our students. So in the upcoming examination, the student will give his own assessment. The students will give their own assessment. What kind of thing they have learned, whether they are satisfied or not satisfied, the learning curve has gone up or down. So all these things will be the part of our new education policy. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for being a part of the presentation. You all are requested to subscribe to Genius Connect, which is our YouTube channel, if you have not subscribed, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Also, as you all are aware of the initiative that Genius Lakshya is an open platform for all across the nation, irrespective of any language, any religion, any age group from standard 7 onwards. Anyone can join the live online session and can enhance himself and herself. And those students who are seriously preparing for UPSC and GPSC and ND and CDS, for any direct and practical information, you can directly contact at Genius School for more information and materials. We at Genius Group of Institutions, we are providing libraries for UPSC, GPSC, ND and CDS. So anyone who would like to avail himself or herself for the library facility, they are most welcome. Why this system was not implemented in our system first, as we know that this system is prevailing in America also. See, it is a welcome step. As I have already told you, it is better. Though it is late, it is better than late than never. But yes, if it is implemented positively, definitely we will do miraculous in the field of education. And the best thing that government of India will spend 6% of its GDP in education. For the first time it will happen. 6%, it has never happened. So far, India spends maximum 3% of its GDP. So it is absolutely a welcome step. Thank you very much for being a part of the presentation once again. See you in my next presentation. Be there on time. Take care. Till then, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.